How many of you have ever had that moment where you look in the mirror and you're like, why are you this way? Why do I do that? How many of you looked at your bank statement and were like, why did I spend that money? Why am I this way? And there's value in figuring out why you are the way that you are. But there's a difference between finding an explanation and finding an excuse. Because uncovering the root issue of your problems is getting an explanation. And once you've got an excuse, you'll start rationalizing. But once you've got an explanation, you can start healing. You can start making progress. When you figure out why it is that you get so angry so quickly, when you figure out why it is that you have a hard time committing, when you figure out why it is that you have a hard time trusting people, when you've got an explanation, you can deal with it. But if all you have are excuses, you can continue in it. James says, confess your faults to one another. And once you've named it, you can treat it or rationalize it, but you can't do both. And so you can figure out what's going on, and then you can begin to experience healing. And here's what's beautiful about Christian community. What James is talking about here, confessing your faults one to another. In the context of Christian community, confession leads to mercy and grace and acceptance and transformation. And that's the reason that James is saying, confess your faults to one another. And the phrase he uses is this phrase that happens again and again throughout the New Testament, where we're told to love one another, to care for one another, to bear one another's burdens. And this phrase of one another is in the context of Christian community and how we care for one another. And when you are in a Christian community and you say, hey, this is something that I'm struggling with, you are shown grace and mercy and encouragement, and you're able to experience the transformation that the Lord offers.